compliments to the physicians. I believe that each of you has taken time to understand a very difficult subject. You've articulated the issues that confound the process and make life difficult for all of us. And yet, during the course of the campaign, I didn't hear white coats saying the things that seem so naturally to have come from your lips. I mean, it seems that the points that each of you made would be so typical for physicians to make. And yet, realizing that the president of the AMA perhaps was very much in favor of the Democrat program, the body of the AMA was silent. Perhaps I wasn't reading the right newspaper or watching the right channels, but I'm curious whether you, as physicians, believe that your own professional organization took the role that was appropriate, or should have been appropriate, when your own profession is placed in such dire straits as a result. And I will extend my curiosity to whether or not you believe, if there is going to be an honest-to-God repeal effort, the physicians will get behind it. I'll thank you for your answers.
Dr. Gill. I appreciate the gentleman.
Well, this may come as a surprise to many of you, but only about 16 or 17% of the doctors in America belong to the American Medical Association. The American Medical Association is the voice of American doctors, and there's roughly 1 million doctors in America. During the debate, carried in my pocket as I went to Washington a list of the state societies, including the Texas Medical Association that opposed the bill, and there were about 10 state societies, there were about 30 specialty societies. My American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons opposed the bill. They did, in our newsletters it was out, we had letters to all the members of Congress that we opposed it. And the collective group of that list represented about 500,000 doctors, so over half of the doctors in America. But yet somehow it never seems to make it on CNN or any of the news, the mainstream media as they call it, that the doctors somehow, if the AMA says that they endorse it, then the doctors endorse it. So I'll tell you, the vast majority of the doctors in this country did not support this effort. Now, the second part of the question is what next? Well, I think as Pete alluded to, the first order of business is to educate the American people about what's in this bill. And I think as you learn more and more about what's in it, you will make your own decision whether you think it's a good bill or a bad bill. The second part is the really sticky part of the regulatory process. Now, this bill is going to go to all the agencies up there in Washington, and all the bureaucrats and the guys with the green visors are going to sit down and write the rules for all this stuff on how it's going to work. And that's where I will be involved, and our medical associations will be involved in watching over that process. We can't, I mean, it's a runaway train right now, so we're going to have to watch over that process and make sure they don't make it act even worse than it is with the rulemaking process. And then, as the president said himself at the Healthcare Summit, that's what elections are for. That's what elections are for. If you don't like what you see, that's what elections are for. And we've got one coming up in November. So, I think that's when you're going to actually see some possibilities for really changing this thing. But we've got to be very vigilant about the rulemaking process and as they put these things into effect.
I thank the gentleman. Thank you, Dr. Gill. The gentleman's right.
I thank the Congressman for hosting this session tonight.
Yes, sir.